Hey y'all, this is Anissa, and I'm here to give you guys another dose of my commentary on the couples from Love After Lockup Season 3. And we're going to be talking about episodes 42 and 43. And we're going to focus on Jeff and Anissa today, and they are in Kentucky. Okay? So let's toast. Okay? We got Mr. Sloth, Clarence Sloth with us today. Hey, Clarence. Okay. We'll let the incense burn nice and slow. Because he's currently on parole, he's using a drone to just look at stuff. And when I first seen this scene, I thought it was kind of cool. I was like, oh, wow. Like, you know, a lot of people do have to be on home confinement once they're released from prison, but they haven't experienced the world. They've been in confinement their entire incarceration, not being able to move, see what's out there. And so then to be out there, to actually be out in the free world and still not be able to move, just imagine the like psychological like trauma and like annoyance and frustration of not being able to just step beyond your front yard and go explore the world. So Jeff has purchased a drone along with many other things, and Kyle lets us know that he spent a lot of money. Okay, he is dreaming big, okay, but he is not really working hard yet. So he doesn't have the full combination at this time because he is using Anissa's money to buy all of this stuff, okay? Kyle's not happy about it. He's voicing his opinion, but the issue is Anissa's not happy about it, and she ain't saying anything. She's not saying anything to the camera. She's not saying anything to Jeff. Most importantly, she hasn't said anything to production. We're not even sure if she's told Kyle that she's upset about it. She's just letting it happen. I think she's really just she's really holding on to the experience of him not coming home to her twice during the 11 years that they've been talking to one another, that she's just going to allow him to abuse her financially. That's what's happening. And let me tell you, talked about this with MDOC, but Kentucky is no better. The Kentucky Department of Correction also has expensive commissary, also has expensive phone calls, charges for phone calls, charges to use the same JPay, okay, same global tel link, the same, you know, recorded telephone system that people have to pay to use that's being weaponized against them. All of these tools, all of these methods of communication are not actually for connecting loved ones to the people in prison. They're for collecting communicative data to weaponize against the person in prison. Economic blanket of like choice, you know, it's not a system in which you can just say, oh, I'm not going to use UT, I'm going to call using T-Mobile or Verizon. Like, no, if you want to talk on the phone, you have to use the system. So Kentucky's the same. So Kyle's telling Jeff everything that he feels, which isn't really relevant, you know, to their relationship. Jeff's saying it, and Jeff is just saying like, bro, I don't care how you feel. He tells him that in his own words. And in retaliation, the elementary school kid, mom, I'm upset, so I'm gonna, you know, run in and throw a tantrum, okay? That's him as he approaches Anissa in the kitchen and says, Anissa, he doesn't directly tell. So remember in the episode prior, Jeff tells Kyle a secret, information that he has not told Anissa. He just recently found out new information about his life connected to his past. He was disengaged from his relationships with people on the outside, disengaged with society. He didn't know this information, okay? So he got this new information recently being released. He hasn't been released yet. He hasn't shared it with Anissa. He told Kyle first to test Kyle instead of telling Anissa to build up their relationship. But he thought it more important to test Kyle, and Kyle fails. He doesn't actually say it at first, but you can tell he's just setting up to say it. He's like, oh, Anissa, I don't like what he's doing, spend all your money. He starts off with that. He eggs her on with that. And, all this money, you guys don't even have what you guys need for the house, for the bills, because he's spending thousands of dollars, spending everything in the accounts. And how does he know how much he's spending? How tied in is he with the finances? Do they share like utilities and stuff? Like, is his property connected to hers and like the internet? And like, that would be a small thing, the internet, but like the utilities and like, is the mortgage on the same contract? Like, how does it work? Because it seems like he knows too much about the money, or maybe he's just tabulating things as he sees boxes being opened. Is he over that much? Okay. Or do things accidentally get delivered to his property? I'm trying to figure out how Kyle is so intertwined with what's going on. But he eggs on Anissa, and he's like, all this stuff that he's spending money on could be going towards better use. I can understand if he got one or two things, if he got a phone, and I can see how he's curious if he got like a video game, but he's gotten so much stuff. I can't believe it. And so he starts off with that, and then he goes into, and on top of that, for him to be doing this and for him to be keeping information from you. And it's like, oh, usually this is like, what? Keeping information from you that you should know. How could he get out and not tell you this? And it's really not something that you would be upset with. You guys, you could definitely work through it. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just the fact that he won't tell you that just makes me upset. I don't like seeing you like this, all upset. It's making me upset. And she says, okay, just tell me. And Kyle tells her he was with a woman before he went to prison, and he found out when he got out that he now has an 18-year-old son, and he didn't tell you. And this is like shocked. She's like, oh my gosh. She was like taking it in, and then she's just like, what am I supposed to do now? How am I supposed to act? Am I supposed to tell him? And Kyle's like, I don't know, do whatever you want to do. And Kyle is just the worst. Like, I don't know, like, I can see that he cares about Anissa in some way, because he lives there and stuff, but I feel like, feels protective over her because he wants, like, her undivided, like, care and attention, because they have this dynamic. He lives on her property. Like, when he got out, she gave him a chance, which I don't know what kind of chance it was, whether he was, like, a farmhand or what was going on, but he got out, he had nothing, and now he lives on Anissa's property, and she makes him breakfast and talks to him every day, and they're best friends. Okay, so he's now attacking another guy who was in the same position that he was in, I would assume, not too long ago. Nothing was too long ago. Life is but a mist. How are you treating this man like this, Not even, like, be a bro to him. Of course he's gonna have to tell Anissa, but you shouldn't have been the one to do it like that. And he set it up in such a way that was so, like, it would have really annoyed me, like the way that he was like setting it up and not actually saying what it was. Like, what's your problem? Like, just spit it out. It's obvious that you want to say it. Just say it now. So I'm going into now my feelings on Kyle and how he's too involved in what they've got going on. Like, but the worst thing about their dynamic is the financial abuse, and like, I feel like she's allowing it because she just wants him to be around, and she's not going to share how she truly feels, how she's not comfortable in the situation, how they're probably not like financially secure anymore because so much has gone out. Like, and she did tell the camera, like, I work a lot, and I understand, she just said, I work really hard to support us. And then she just covered it like, I understand, he doesn't have anything to do, but I work really hard to support us. Like that. She's so sweet and tender and like sensitive. Like, Anissa's not going to go off on Jeff. And Kyle is trying to, egg her on and make her so agitated that maybe she'll go off on Jeff. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. What I think is gonna happen is Anissa is gonna try to act normal, maybe for one more episode. I'm not sure how long she has it in her, and then it's just gonna explode. Okay, they're gonna get into an argument, and then she's just gonna be like, well, you lie, like you lied to me by omission. I think that's how it's gonna come out. And it might be argument over finances. That's what a lot of couples argue over. That's the number one reason for, you know, divorce, is financial insecurity. And when you're living in a capitalist economy like the United States, if you're not financially secure, no lie. And no one who's incarcerated is financially secure, and the people who are supporting them are being pushed into financial insecurity by being linked to a system that is so financially abusive, so much so that it ties your ability to communicate and stay connected to your loved one to your ability to afford it. So definitely support, you know, every campaign that is for lowering the cost, eliminating the cost, really, of phone calls for people who are incarcerated. It's just unjust and inhumane, and it's unsustainable, and it's really just making a few companies money. It's not doing anything for anyone. And we can see the impact that this has on people's relationships, and when they get out, like that $30,000 that's spent, or $10,000 even, you know, that's spent on talking to someone on the phone could have been spent on so many things. I think about, you know, education, like someone getting a higher degree while they're in prison. There are programs for people who are in prison, and they do have to buy books. They do have to purchase supplies in a lot of cases. So it could be spent on that. It could be spent on them getting clothes. You know, you are only provided with so much. You're only provided with a pair of flops, you know, socks, your top and bottom, you know, and maybe a change of top and bottom perhaps, but you still have to buy underwears. You need to buy new ones every so often. You need to buy more socks. You need to buy warmer socks. You need to buy gloves. You need to buy a coat, a winter coat, a raincoat, a hat, you know, different shoes, gym shoes if you want to play basketball or work out. Like, these are all extra things that you have to spend money on when you're incarcerated. You don't just, there's not, oh, Friday we're passing out Nike gym shoes because y'all like to play basketball. Like, no, that doesn't happen. How do people think that people actually survive and maintain, you know, some sense of sanity and have things to do? They have to supply the supplies themselves. So prison ain't doing it. If you want to, I'll just go into this a little bit for like just more sake of talking about other things that could be the money, people's money could be used on, whether it's someone on the outside that's supporting, that's willing, you know, to pay for a phone call. Of course they would be willing to instead pay for them to have more nutritious meals. Of course they would be willing for them to pay to have a coat instead, if they're paying just to talk on the phone with them. Okay, other things that people use money for. Oh my gosh, let me show you guys this. There are some people, they are artists and they make cards for people. I know a lot of people have seen that on Love After Lockup, when someone has like a whole bunch of cards that they're showing off that someone made for them in prison. Oftentimes, like, there's someone who makes those cards and then they sell them and then customize those designs for people to send to their loved ones, which is like, you need to buy scissors, you need to buy construction paper, you need pencils, crayons. Those things are not just freely available. Prison is not kindergarten. There's not a huge cubby with everything that you need that you can just pick up and then you're trusted to bring it back. And, you know, they count everything. They tabulate everything. And how do you keep a chart of everything? You have a cost to it. How do you keep people from having access to everything? You charge them for it. Then people who can't afford it just won't get it. So I want to show you guys this. It's broken because it was for my birthday. This was for my birthday for when I turned 25, okay? I turned 25 February of last year, right? So, okay. It was supposed to be mailed to me. The prison did not mail it, okay? They only so often, you know, come around and say, hey, who has packages that they want to mail? You have to request, like, hey, can I mail something? It's this big or whatever. And then the prisoner has to pay to send it, right? So he paid and had it in the office for it to be mailed. Then there was some person that was over it, was on vacation or something, so that they weren't able to mail nothing out. He lost his money. They were still holding it. They'd already charged him, okay? But now it was gone, okay? So no one could find it. He couldn't find it. I came up for a visit. He told me it was going to be behind the desk. The staff had put it in the office. When I came for the visit and asked for it when I came, they were like, oh, we'll give it to you when you leave. When I was leaving, they were like, oh, we can't find it. I was like, what? This is insane. And this was like the next week after my birthday, okay? It wasn't even that long. And then Christmas comes. And he's like, I'm going to send it for Christmas, yo. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, he got the money back together to send it back out because they didn't put it. And then, oh no, it was March. The pandemic hit. There was no way to get it. Then Christmas came. And he sent it. And it came a whole year later. Was that a complicated story? But yeah, I just want to show you guys this. It took forever to get it. It's made out of wood. This is something that someone in prison made. Okay. And it's really, really nice. It has like blue felt on the inside. These are all materials that someone had access to or had to purchase and made stuff with. And I've showed you guys like different stuff that people have made that are incarcerated. You guys, if you follow me on IG, you've seen the pictures of the From Nothing bracelets. I don't have it on right now. This is a bracelet from my church that says pray first. We are in our 21 days of prayer. It's day 8. So pray first, y'all. So yeah, bracelets that are made of cardboard and laminated. People make all types of things, of course. You know, people can't contain their beautiful creativity. So yeah, that's that. Just want to show you guys that before I close out and just say, you know, the abuse that happens, it doesn't just get, you know, absorbed and eliminated when it's inflicted on somebody. It comes out in the form of abuse towards a person or towards oneself. And so that's what we're seeing with Jeff. Like, he's been belittled and dehumanized for 11 plus years. Now he's coming out and all he has to offer is, you know, the same type of way that he related to people in prison. Disrespect, miscommunication, disengaged, uninvolved, neglectful, short-tempered, short thinking. I want this now. And now he finally has access to money and he's pouring all of that into, stuff, material things. So it's not looking good. It's not looking good.